Did you do a collaboration with another YouTuber before? Well, if you didn't, you should. And if you do, then you should continue, because collaborations really have the potential to catapult your channel to the next level. And I want to give you a few tips about that today, but I don't want to talk about the technical part, like how to share the footage with the other YouTuber using Dropbox, for example. I'm sure you figure that out, because the really big challenge in the first place is how to get the other YouTuber to say, all right, let's do it. Big shout out to HP Games for asking the questions that inspired me to do this video today. And you in particular asked about how can a small YouTuber even do collaboration? Because who wants to collaborate with a small channel, right? Well, it's not so complicated as it sounds. And I really have to say, no matter what your channel size is, start doing collabs. I started doing them when I was only a few hundred subscribers into my channel, and I really wouldn't want to miss them. Really so much so that more than 10% of all the videos I have on my channels are collaborations of some sort. It's so important to me. And to give you an understanding, there is a broad range of different types of collaborations you can do. So let's get started looking into the most common ones that you could do as a collaboration. The first kind is doing a video exchange. You basically do two videos, and one is published on your channel and one is published on the channel of the other creator, and then you link up both videos so that the audience from both channels cross over to the other channel. That's a win for both sides and a really good way to approach doing collaborations. The second one is when you are a guest in a show of another YouTuber. That's perfect for you in particular, because if you are on the show, you get the outreach to the audience of the other YouTuber, and this way you can plug your channel, and hopefully many of those viewers come to your channel, and this way you can grow a lot faster. The third kind is getting a shout out. That's the most effortless way of having a collaboration. The good effects of doing a collaboration, basically getting the audience to come to your channel from another channel. And obviously, because a shout out is quite weak, much weaker than doing a video where you appear on their channel, for example, it has to be a shout out from a very big channel. Otherwise, it wouldn't make much of a difference. And the big issue here is, of course, that big channel owners have such a big audience that it's hard for you to stick out to get the attention of that big YouTuber. So what do you do in order to get this attention? Well, one way is to do the fourth kind of collaborations, which is featuring another YouTuber. And that is probably one kind that you didn't think about as a collaboration. The idea is that the other YouTuber basically does nothing, but you feature that YouTuber in your video. Use the footage of the other YouTuber in your video, tell a story about the other YouTuber, for example. And that way you can actually achieve to get in front of the audience from the other YouTuber. How? I will tell you shortly. That's kind of a unique take here and really powerful as well. By the way, I'm sure there are many other types of collaborations that I didn't mention here, so feel free to let me know them in the comments to enrich this list of collaboration types. But before we dive into how to make those 4 types of collaborations happen, let me show you 3 general steps to make the other YouTubers say, yes, let's go. Step 1, get your video quality up. Well, if you collaborate with another YouTuber, then your video quality has to be on the level of the other YouTuber, because the other YouTuber has a reputation to keep up, right? And if your video quality is much lower, especially if you collaborate with a much bigger channel where the video quality is really high already, then you have to be on the same level for obvious reasons, of course. And it's not only, by the way, the video quality, it's also about opinion, for example. I mean, a flat earther YouTuber wouldn't want to collaborate with you when you have a history of making fun of flat earthers, right? So it's all in all, you have to be in a position where you can keep up the reputation of the other YouTuber. It has to be on the same level. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to get that collaboration going. Step 2, get to know each other. Well, the situation is currently that you figured out a few YouTubers who you want to do a collaboration with, and you know that your video quality is on the level of those YouTubers. So how do you achieve that YouTuber will say, yes, let's do this collaboration? And I mean, you can't just ask that person, let's do some kind of collaboration, and then hope that that person says yes. There is kind of like a process. The first step towards that is to get to know that person, to become visible to that person, kind of becoming like an online friend, so that when you propose the collaboration, that other YouTuber already knows you and can say, like, on a personal basis, yes, it would be fun to work with you. And then once the YouTuber knows you, the third step is to propose a project idea. This is really essential and really important third step here. Don't just ask, let's do a collaboration of some sort. The point here is that every YouTuber has really a lot of work on their hands, and coming up with a collaboration to get started and doing the collaboration is a lot of work. So what you need to do in order to get this collaboration rolling is to motivate the other YouTuber to actually do that. And how does a YouTuber get excited to do a collab? Well, the excitement actually comes once you know what precisely you want to do in your collab. What should be the video topic about? Who takes which part? What do you want to talk about, for example? Then there is this point where suddenly both involved parties can get excited about that collaboration. And before you have figured out what kind of collaboration project you want to do, that excitement is still missing. So you can do one crucial step. You can do the idea finding about what collaboration project you should do first, and propose that project to the other YouTuber. Because if you come up with a really great video idea for that collaboration project and pitch that to the other YouTuber, then the thinking about what could we do is already done, and the YouTuber can get excited immediately. Alright, knowing these 3 steps, let me give you some examples of my past experience where I did collabs with other YouTubers. So let's get started with the first kind, doing a video exchange. Well, in this case, I did it with Julian from Measure School, and it worked like this, that he found Morningfame, my tool, and figured out that I am located in Berlin, Germany. So he contacted me and asked me, well, if you are in Berlin, let's meet in person. And of course, I wouldn't want to miss meeting a YouTuber in real life, and especially one who is so much into analytics like myself. So I said, yes, let's meet. And because you are the Google SEO expert, I'm sure my audience would be really interested in your insights. And I proposed that maybe we do a video when we meet. So we met and talked for a while, and it became apparent that we both had knowledge that we would be happy to share with the audience of the other channel. So we did 2 videos, in one where he explained the Google SEO to YouTubers, and in the other way where I explained YouTube SEO to Google people. Well, in this example, you see we did all the 3 steps already beforehand in the email exchange we had. But the most important part is that I didn't propose to do a video on his channel at first, because just from an email it's hard to convince someone that you could bring some value to his audience in this case. So the talking we did when we met in person was really crucial to get him motivated to do a video with me as an interview partner as well for his channel. And I can really say you meeting YouTubers in person makes it so much easier to come up with a collaboration, because you are on a personal level. It's much easier this way. But of course, it's not impossible to do that online only, and you'll see in the other examples as well how that works. So let's move on to the second type of collaborations, being a guest on a show. And in this case, I'm happy that I was on Gord Eastman's show for a few times already. He does YouTube advice like me and is happy to invite many different YouTubers on his channel as interview partners. So as far as I can remember, we got to know each other on the Tube Ritual group in a Facebook group where we chatted forth and back every now and then for particular questions about YouTube advice. And this way he became aware of me as being the creator of Morningfame, and obviously this way that he knows that I have this tool under my belt, and obviously with that a little bit of expertise in this field. So what happened after we got to know each other was that we chatted on Facebook messengers for a few times. We had Skype conference calls and talked about what we could do together, and that resulted into what we want to do on his interview sessions. So even though we never met in person actually, we found ways to get to know each other on a personal level, and that was really crucial to get our collaborations going. So just in case you lost focus about the 3 steps in order to make collaborations happen, let me explain you how they worked here. The first step to get your video quality up here is actually that God was interested in the advice that I could be giving, the value that I could be providing to the interview. I mean, in this case, there is no video footage of mine involved. What matters here is that what I am able to deliver is on the level that he's expecting for his show. And there was a check. Then the second step, get to know each other. As I said, we chatted on Messenger, had Skype calls to get to know each other. And finally, proposing the project idea as step 3, that kind of happened in those Skype calls. Alright, the third kind of collaboration is to get a shout out, hopefully from a very large channel. And that, for example, happened to me when I was publishing this video. Well, in general, for shout outs, you probably are thinking about that the other YouTuber mentions you in a video, right? But it's not the only way you could get a shout out. For example, nowadays with the community tab in place, you could get a shout out in the form of a community tab post of that other YouTuber. And that video that I published, well, Brian watched it and was really impressed and thought he should share that with his audience. Well, and that resulted for me boosting my video views for several hundred views at once. Really helpful. That said, obviously I had it quite easy in this case to get that shout out from Brian, because we are already working closely together on Morningfame. So obviously he watches a few of my videos and this way is aware of what I'm doing, and so I'm visible to him to get potentially a shout out from him. That is usually not that easy to get visible in front of a bigger YouTuber, but as I mentioned in the beginning, there is the fourth kind of collaboration that will most likely get you in front of that YouTuber for sure. The fourth kind is featuring another YouTuber, and that other YouTuber is not really involved into this video. The other YouTuber might provide a few video snippets, but that's it. It's really low effort for the other YouTuber. It has a really great effect, because tell me one YouTuber who wouldn't be happy to get featured on another channel, right? And in my case, that are the creator stories that I do every now and then. And there certainly every YouTuber I'm talking about, that YouTuber's success story, well, that YouTuber obviously is happy about that, and here is the effect that kicks in. Depending on what YouTuber I feature, they have a social media outreach of some sorts. Well, then they will certainly tweet on Twitter that they got featured on my channel and that their audience should watch that video. Certainly, of course, they are proud that I feature them. So that is the effect that featuring another YouTuber can have in this case. But it's also not really the simplest thing to do. You can't just do this. You have to be a little bit cautious here, because if you are featuring another YouTuber and you want them to be proud to get featured, well, then you have to show them in a really good light. And I really have to say, doing the first creator story on my channel was not that easy. I mean, I never did a creator story before. It was the first one that I was planning. So that YouTuber I was asking to get featured in my video and using his footage in my video, get the okay from the YouTuber, because you have to get permission to do that, to use his footage. Well, I had to convince him somehow that I will do a nice video about him, and knows that the reputation won't be broken by just some crappy video that I might do, right? So for the first creator story, I chose one particular YouTuber with whom I had a long email exchange already. So we were acquainted, we were quite online buddies already. So it was easier for me to pitch to him doing this creator story about him. Of course, after that, once I had my first creator story in place, the other YouTubers, I was able to just send them as an example the previous creator stories that I did. And that was much easier then to convince those YouTubers to do another creator story about him or her, right? Obviously, you somehow have to break the ice to convince them that this will be a great thing to be part of it, right? All right, now we come to the final question about how to make collaborations happen. And remember these 3 steps to make the other YouTubers say, yes, let's do it. Get your video quality up, get to know each other, and propose a concrete project idea. And of course, together with the different kinds of collaborations you might do, I hope you have good inspiration to what kind of project idea you could propose to the other YouTuber. But who is the other YouTuber? How do you find the right other YouTubers to potentially do a collaboration with? Well, as I mentioned previously, that happened to me multiple times, is the best way you can do it is to meet other YouTubers in person. For example, meetup.com is a perfect source to find other YouTubers in your area. Check it out. Hopefully in your area there is a meetup regularly meeting with other YouTubers where you can easily find other collab partners. Or, of course, going to conferences. By the way, who is going to Vid Summit? If you are there, I would love to meet you in person and interview you on my channel. And that's also a perfect way, because then it's so much easier to convince the other person to do a collab. Because first you meet in person, you build trust, and this way the decision that you are the right person to do a collab with is a no-brainer at that point. And also, especially on conferences, I mean, you're already there and you can talk right away, just get the camera rolling, so the effort is really low. For example, I met Eric and Ryan at VidCon, and obviously we did a collab together. They told me about what they learned about increasing their watch time. Really great video, by the way, and it was a breeze doing this collab right on site on VidCon. But if you are not in the lucky position to be able to meet YouTubers in person, well then online is good as well. For me in particular, Facebook groups are really great to find people, to get to know people. For example, the Tube Ritual group, link in the description by the way, is a really great place to find like-minded YouTubers. Of course, be aware that in this group in particular, these are YouTubers from all over the place, all the different niches. You need to find YouTubers in the same niche as yours, or at least in a similar niche, so it makes sense to come up with a sensible project idea for that collaboration, right? So it's not only the YouTubers' Facebook groups that might be interesting for you, but also other fan groups where many YouTubers roam around a given topic, the niche your channel is about. So Facebook groups is really great, and obviously once you're chatting with other YouTubers on those groups, you can switch to messengers and then continue the conversation to get to know each other much better, and that's the natural way to lead into a collaboration. And then finally, there is new ways in order to find collaborators. I have to say, I didn't try them yet, but basically there is this idea to do a Tinder for YouTube, a dating app for YouTubers. So there are two apps I'm aware of. I didn't try them myself, but they are basically using this approach. Feel free to check them out. I can't say whether they work or not, but they look promising. The first one is Co-host and the second one is Sidekick Collab. Both are basically a Tinder for YouTubers. So these apps could maybe be a good choice for you because obviously they facilitate you filtering the channels, the kinds of channels that you would like to do a collaboration with. Yeah, browse through the catalog and pick the YouTubers that are potential candidates. Alright, with all those tips at hand, I challenge you to get your hands dirty and do collaborations. And don't hesitate to collaborate with smaller YouTubers as well. It's not only about getting the outreach to a big YouTuber and suddenly letting your channel skyrocket. When you collaborate with same size YouTubers, it's also really helpful and of course much easier to get happening. Plus, I want you to really get into the mindset of doing collabs, and for that, big shout out to Daniel Batal, who has an amazing story to tell about how he does his collaborations. And I think he is actually the prime example about how to do collabs the right way. So I can really recommend you his amazing story about his biggest collaboration he did to date, where you will learn how he made everything happen, and by the way, with that, jump-started growing his channel. He did it with 0 back then, and that was the jumpstart of his channel. Alright, I hope this really helped you to get your collaborations rolling even better. Let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions. I'm happy to help as always. So cheers my friends!